The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. Embrace, esteemed companions, a moment of profound introspection and thought. I would like to introduce a thought-provoking concept for individuals who have deliberately set their intentions in line with the pursuit of their ambitions. The enigmatic methods by which the universe puts you to the test. Have you ever pondered the reason why, as you pursue your aspirations, the cosmos appears to interlace an intricate web of obstacles and enigmas? The process of actualizing our innermost aspirations is seldom a straightforward one. Rather, it is a journey fraught with detours and obstacles, diversions that resemble cosmic riddles and are strategically placed to put our determination and preparedness for the world we long to build to the test. However, we should reconsider our viewpoint regarding these challenges. What if we perceived them not as obstacles that require us to reluctantly surmount them, but rather as invaluable prospects, possibilities to demonstrate our perseverance and our steadfast dedication to our aspirations? Consider each obstacle as an inquiry presented by the cosmos, prompting us to determine the extent to which we desire this world. Do you feel prepared to wholeheartedly accept it? These challenges extend beyond being ordinary obstacles. Fundamentally, they serve as development catalysts, demonstrating to both ourselves and the universe that human beings possess the ability to not only envision, but also materialize their aspirations. Every unanticipated detour and shortcut presents an opportunity to assess our dexterity, flexibility, and commitment. They serve as an inquiry from the cosmos into whether or not we are genuinely equipped to prosper and receive the world that we are striving so ardently to create. Wonderful transformation. Perhaps these steps are strategically crafted to assess your readiness to embrace forthcoming treasures. In reality, the key to unlocking future desires is to triumph over the trials of the present. The concept of manifesting one's future and making room for profound aspirations and dreams is undeniably enchanting. Consequently, it should not come as a surprise that this enigmatic journey will be fraught with challenges, questions that require answers, and obstacles that must be surmounted in order to achieve success. This is the reason why so many individuals blunder upon it. Fundamental to manifestation is the fusion of purpose and harmony. While union is formidable and potent, it can occasionally encounter unforeseen waves of obstacles. During such periods, one may perceive that the universe is conspiring against their aspirations. It can be unsettling to select objectives that favor prosperity, inspiring connections, or positive outlooks, only to become entangled in situations that run counter to their most resolute intentions. Financial distress, diminished motivation, and adverse health effects can result from distractions. Failure to resolve fracture connections can result in increased difficulties and uncertainty regarding the chosen path. While contemplating the rapidity of change and the reasons for this, it is not opportune to abandon one's aspirations. Maintain steadfastness in one's dreams and acknowledge that the universe is essentially evaluating one's authenticity and dedication in order to ascertain whether such connections are unresolved or not. The desire for substantial wealth is a universal aspiration, and achieving it requires a personal transformation similar to any other. It is unsurprising that the universe will present obstacles that are strategically crafted to assess your capacity to responsibly manage wealth. If you are sincere in your readiness to accept the reality you seek, then are you prepared for what you seek to materialize? The challenges of the cosmos serve as a reflection of the profundity of one's aspirations, and pose the question of whether one is prepared to confront the inherent nature of such dreams. By comprehending how to navigate these challenges, one will realize that they are merely stepping stones that lead one closer to the valuables one seeks. As the objects of one's desires materialize, their trajectory will alter, and they will be inspired to further explore their authentic selves and embrace their desires. You will invariably return to a fundamental query that consumes your attention as you delve further into the subject. Occurrence of the Consider the following inquiry. What if manifestation signifies something more profound than the universe granting our particular request? What if it signifies the universe mirroring ourselves? What if the universe is not an entity that grants wishes, but rather a mirror that reflects our essence? The concept of manifestation evolves beyond mere desire for material wealth or profound love. Rather, it centers on receiving that which is congruent with one's true self. appear to be failure to effect change results from maintaining a static inner self and resonating at the same frequency. This realization is crucial, as the universe does not oppose one's journey but rather shapes it. When obstacles arise, view them as opportunities to grow and alter one's perspective. Consider whether one is willing to reflect the energy of abundance despite facing challenges. Only then can such an approach be adopted. Difficult circumstances. By declaring your commitment to manifestation, you are committing to a reinvention and selecting a new version of yourself. The universe will then sculpt and gently guide you to live as the person who has already surmounted numerous challenges. This profound shift in your mindset will lead you to an additional realization that it is the intention of the universe to observe your dedication to your newly discovered self, particularly in times of adversity. It is important to recognize that each time we initiate a manifestation, we are making a conscious decision to adopt a new version of ourselves. Obstacles and increased difficulty during the manifestation process may indicate that our previous selves are resisting this internal transformation. Accept solace in the fact that this opposition also signifies the imminent emergence of the new you. In order to successfully navigate the challenges posed by the cosmos, you must initially embrace your reinvention with gratitude and even delight as you begin to recognize the old you. Take solace in the fact that a new you is on the horizon as old habits and self-perception begin to deteriorate. Certain individuals may experience apprehension towards profound spiritual and personal transformation due to their fear of the unknown and the loss of the familiar. As a result, they may revert to old patterns during a critical juncture. It is imperative to recognize that rebellion against one's former self is a precursor to change, and that courage for such a journey can only be obtained by accepting and embracing this upheaval. Progression of species. At present, it is opportune to transition into the new iteration of oneself that one desires to manifest. By embracing the characteristics of the new self, one can refrain from fixating on scarcity and complaining. Instead, an evolved mindset will react with a sense of security and abundance. And rather than retreating from challenges, one should contemplate the most effective strategies for navigating them. Conquer anxieties by immersing oneself in and applying the wisdom of experience. Challenge and examination. Consider each incremental step as an opportunity to commemorate your transformative progress. Recognize that attaining manifestation is a process of daily evolution, rather than an instantaneous change. Each sunrise provides an opportunity to initiate this change. By commemorating even the smallest victories and progress one makes, one effectively communicates with the subconscious mind, reinforcing the idea that advancement is being made. Therefore, it is more beneficial to strive for incremental transformations rather than instantaneous ones. Accept that each small step paves the way for extraordinary accomplishments and value each moment of your singular journey. Know that you are constructing a bridge between your current state and your desired state. Recognize that when circumstances appear to be against you and a challenge arises, you are being prompted to realign your thoughts and energy in order to facilitate growth. Commemorate both small and large victories, knowing that the universe is cognizant of your perseverance and resolve to change. In turn, circumstances will be rearranged to correspond with your intentions. True manifestation flourishes at this point. Manifestation itself is not concerned with this. Overnight alterations or perfection. Maintaining a steadfast commitment to the process, and bearing in mind that the universe perpetually watches over your endeavors and aligns itself with your intentions, remember that you are, in fact, the architect of your own destiny, is what matters. I find myself reaching out to you, my cherished audience, with a sense of deep connection and anticipation. Do you feel, as I do, that the universe orchestrates challenges as precursors to significant shifts in our lives? I am eager to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share with us in the comments below. Have you encountered hurdles that, in hindsight, were pivotal in steering you towards your dreams? What transformations did these trials bring about in you? How did they shape your journey towards realizing your aspirations? Your contributions are more than mere comments. They are the lifeblood of our community, enriching our collective journey with diverse perspectives and profound insights. Each story, each reflection you share, weaves into the fabric of our shared experience, offering strength, inspiration, and a deeper understanding of our universal journey. So, I invite you to express yourself, to add your voice to this ongoing conversation. Reflect on the lessons the universe's challenges have taught you, and how they have molded your path to achieving your dreams. Allow me to leave you with a thought to ponder. Our life's journey is akin to a grand symphony, where every challenge is a resonant note, each trial a meaningful melody, harmonizing to guide us towards our destined paths. The universe challenges us not to hinder, but to fortify us, preparing us for the extraordinary destinies that lie ahead. Your active participation and engagement are what breathe life into this channel. It's your encouragement and interaction that ignite my passion to create content that resonates with you daily. By sharing your insights and connecting with our community, you do more than support me. You help cultivate a space for collective growth and exploration. Together, let's continue on this transformative path, supporting each other, learning and growing, as we turn life's challenges into stepping stones towards a future filled with wonder and achievements. Farewell, dear friends. And remember, the universe always embraces you with love and guidance.